Everybody, I am Captain Tommy Scoble, and you are on the Lifeboat. Yeah. Morning. No, I'm just busting on Karina Henderson. Thought it was funny. Good morning. How are you? Hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to the boat. If you've not been here before, good morning. We do this every single day on the 5s at 5 a.m. and at 5 p.m. There he is. Look at that. Broke him up. He's not happy. My producer. Wow, it's a pretty boss hat you're wearing there, Calhoun. What the heck is that? Yeah, he's I don't know what he's got on his head, but it's okay. We're gonna fire this thing up. I don't know about you. I made a thumbnail this morning, and I'm getting old, and I'm also maybe I'm either I don't know. Anyway, when I was making the thumbnail, I threw up old Dirty Harry. For those of a specific age, you probably remember Dirty Harry. Good morning, Spanky. And that particular picture that I took there got a whole lot of traction in the 80s. I think it was the name of the film, Point of Impact or something like that. It was one of the last Dirty Harry films ever. I think second to last. He did one that actually had Jim Carrey playing Axl Rose, kind of. I think that the Dirty Harry Deadpool was the last one, but this was the second to the last film. But that make my day thing was a big thing. Politicians were saying it. Everybody was saying it. It was just, I don't know, got a lot of traction. But I swear to you, I kind of want to pull that. I'm really tired of hearing the Merry Christmas thing. I understand it's people being kind. I really do. But sometimes I think if you're not in a great place, sometimes it feels like somebody rubbing salt in it. You know what I mean? Merry implies alcohol to me. That's very interesting, Nicola. Very interesting. I know that there are a lot of people who, I always associate Christmas with booze, and I don't even drink. Yeah, but I do find that kind of fascinating, and I know that you're not the only person that said that. Sweet tea. Listen, you can fall asleep to this, and then you can catch the replay. This is a great way to fall asleep, right? That the smooth, dulcet tones of your host, who sounds like he spent the previous evening gargling with broken glass. The perfect voice to fall asleep to. Dirty Harry Deadpool was my favorite because Guns N' Roses were extras in a few scenes. I didn't know that. I did know that Guns N' Roses were the soundtrack. I don't understand why they didn't just use Axl Rose to play Axl Rose. They had Jim Carrey play basically Axl, and he sang "Welcome to the Jungle" and got killed, I think, in the first scene. It was really early on in Jim Carrey's career. Whoa, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you, everyone. It feels surreal. This has to be a movie. It just doesn't seem real. And yet, I'm talking to my family for the first time since my heart attack. It's a lot, but 4 days sober. 4 days sober. You have got to be kidding me.
Intense time.
Really intense time. I mean, are you kidding? You're 4 days sober on the 23rd of December. Big time. This is such a monumental thing that you're doing. For real, this is a monumental thing you're doing. Keep it up. For real. Don't this is going to be epic. Congratulations on getting your family back in your life. I remember that. I really do. I remember that in such a big way. It is huge. There it is. There was Jim Carrey. I'll be damned, Calhoun. Done. Yeah, that's Jim Carrey playing Axl Rose. And that was the part for all intents and purposes. He just did a video. He was they had him on camera shooting a music video, and then had him in his dressing room shooting some dope or talking about shooting dope, whatever. They had somebody else come in and give him a hot shot. That was the whole film for him. That is awesome, isn't it, Renee? How cool is that? Right? How cool is that? That's for you there, my friend. You hearing that? Everybody here is fired up for you. That's got to feel good, right? We all have a pretty good idea of what that feels like, right? Keep going. Congrats. Good stuff. Atypical Paul. Do you know what Atypical Paul did yesterday? Because I know what Atypical Paul did yesterday. By the way, while we're here and having conversations about what people did yesterday, no, I won't go there. Atypical Paul yesterday hit the record button. Oh yeah, Atypical Paul hit record yesterday and decided he was going to. He has something he wants to say. There's a message he wants to get out. You guys should go over there and check it out. I am encouraging anybody that feels like they should be hitting record to hit record. And yeah, you know what? I am gonna do a whole show on it. I promise. I'm gonna do a whole show on being a YouTuber because you know what we talk about and connection and all of those things. Excuse me. You guys say a lot of really nice things about the Lifeboat and about me and all that. Really, if you look according to Hoyle, I'm not a good YouTuber. I can't edit. I can't. It's a long list, right? There's a lot of things I can't do, but I can hit play and sit in front of the camera, right? And I've always said I'm not particularly proud of a whole lot of what I do as a YouTuber, right? I am really proud of the message, right? So that's good enough for me. And I've got, excuse me, I got Spanx Calhoun and I got Cedar as well, and I have a team of people that are coming together to do the things I'm bad at. But you know what? If the message in you needs to get out, man, hit record. I promise you, you're going to find a far more receptive audience than anybody on YouTube is going to. Right? We all happen to know that we're all looking for connection, right? People that hit record and can act as peer support. I mean, honestly, people, peer support is huge. It is huge. Miss V, how many Christmases has this been together? Merry Christmas, V. Good to see you. Hey, Kath, you rock. You absolutely rock. It is a big deal. The cult disconnection is real. And you know what? The opposite of everything bad is connection. That's why cults want you to disconnect from people, right? It's the ultimate weapon to break someone down. You want to destroy somebody? Take them away from the connections that make them human. And then force your deal onto whoever, right? Holy cow, I made it to a live, Stephanie. You did. And now not only did you make it to a live, but we embarrassed you, which is what we do. Staceperia, good to see you. I can never remember exactly what time of day it is there, so I'm just going to say have a great day, Staceperia. I know that you are on the other side of the pond. Honestly, overjoyed, Kathy. I am too. And if you've not gone and checked out Kathy's channel, unbelievable musician. Johnny was gushing after I sent him there, which is cool. Very, very cool. Bruce, you did make it. We just started. It's just after 1 p.m., Staceperia. Okay. Gotcha. And it's just after 1 p.m., 2 days before Christmas, right? So tomorrow will be Christmas Eve. And as you know, the Lifeboat will be shutting down we don't shut down for anything. I'm kidding. We don't shut down. Mindy Doolin, good to see you. Nope, there'll be plenty of Lifeboat tomorrow. Hello, Kelly C. Good to see you. School is out for the holidays. Yeah, relaxing and recharging batteries is a good thing 100 out of 100 times. Right? It really is. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, Barbie. We're going to thank God for all moms. And there are some really horrendous ones out there. There really are. Some of the worst on planet Earth. But you know what? They still got you here. And we're going to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure that here is a loving and a caring place that's going to support you. Not all of us came in fantastic. Some of us came in really blessed. Some of us did not. We didn't all get the family that we should have. But a lot of people use that cliche, well, you can't pick your family. And we at the Lifeboat say, of course you can. Of course you can. If you're bummed out with the family that you were given by birth, all right. If they are absolutely toxic and they do everything within their power to make you an unhappy camper versus somebody that has a full life and a happy life, then you know what? Do away with it. Start to create a family of your own. But I would always leave avenues open because you just never know. If you took a look at where I was a decade ago, people, and where I am today, if people had said there's no way that guy is ever going to change, and there are people that did say that, you know, every once in a while, one of them will come across this channel and go, holy hell, he really was getting sober. Oh, that's so important. This is so important. Henny is, you know what? By the way, Henny, I love you. I really do. I'm so glad you're here. And my brother says that about you once a day. I'm not kidding you. My brother says that about you once a day when we're not on the air. Am I lying? He's a fan, Henny. I find that sometimes YouTube messages don't capture the essence of the message sent. I hope that anything I've said has been taken in the supporting spirit I meant to say, sending support and love. You know what, Henny? You come across that way all the time. You really do. If not, then yeah, maybe somebody just got here because I think the Lifeboat has been a much better channel since you arrived, and I mean that. And I mean that. So saying these things out loud is really good. You know that? I'm not kidding. This is really good. I have fear of being misunderstood. I think a lot of people have that. If you say that out loud, that is really, really important. It's a good thing. Interesting. Interesting. Isn't it? I find that to be a very interesting statement, Stephanie. Blood is thicker than water is said by people who want us to keep secrets. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I think there might be something to that. Okay, Connie. Really proud of you that you're on day 4. That's unbelievable and it's fantastic. But you got to do me a favor and stop what you're doing right here with that. Okay? Because that's really unproductive day 4 stuff, right? Love you. I'm saying this from the heart, but that's really unproductive day 4 stuff. And I'll tell you why. So you and your husband are trying to do this together, right? Without taking it out on each other, which is very, very difficult to do. And I respect the fact that you're trying to do this together. I can't believe I'm 50 and dealing with being an addict. Okay. That's a legitimate thought, right? Stop that legitimate thought right then. Taking all of the things that it should have done, right? You can spend the rest of your life in why it took you until you're 50 and never get off of go. This is something that happens to so many people in addiction who will literally find themselves at the end of their life exactly where you're at right now because they spend the next 30 years saying, I can't believe I couldn't do this when this happened and I'm 50. I can't believe it took to 55 to do this, right? How is it possible that this took to 60? I'm 66 and I'm still doing this. I'm telling you, people, this is a reality. So what you have to do is you have to come to, thank you very much, right? 50 is better than 80. It took me to 46. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say you didn't rob a bunch of banks, right? Or you didn't get caught, running guns or doing any of the other stupid stuff that I did. Like we all have our personal level of off the rails. We all have our personal level of rock bottom. There are people for whom rock bottom took place with a suit and a tie on. And for them, it was lying to somebody that they really cared about or that really meant something to them. And that was enough to shake that person. Is that because they're a much better person than I am? And my rock bottom required me breaking the law and lying to everybody on earth and stealing from people and all that. Does that mean they're way better person than I am? That because my rock bottom went deeper? I don't know. You all can answer that. For real. It's something you'd have to answer for yourself. For me, I've come to realize that everybody in this game gets affected slightly different. But the level of your rock bottom, to me, is not a statement on your character. The one of the most life-changing phrases that I ever heard was "nobody in their right mind." Right? It's something that you say and people say, and you take it for granted because it's just one of those phrases we repeat. Right? Yeah, nobody in the right mind would do that. Think about what those words actually mean. Right? Nobody in their right mind robs a bank. Right? I mean, you're going to get caught. Very few bank robbers get away with it. So you with every camera, with everything going on, you make a decision that you're going to go rob a bank, and somehow you don't get caught. So you make a decision you're going to do it again, right? These are decisions made by a guy with an IQ of 70. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm Elon Musk or that I'm starting my own Mensa branch here in Tucson, but I'm not Forrest Gump either, And I made a lot of decisions that made Forrest Gump look like Mensa, because nobody in their right mind does these things, right? Why did it take this long? Because it's a disease, right? It's a disease. And it's the only disease known to man that makes you deny that you have it. If somebody tells you you have cancer, you get in your car and you drive 100 miles an hour to the hospital, right? You go smoking through the front door and go, yo, I'm Tommy. I want to talk to an oncologist. But if somebody comes in and says, you got a disease that's going to kill you, it's going to ruin the people around you in your life, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, you go, yeah, no, you're right. I probably got it. And I'm going to do something about that. Not this weekend. I got family coming in. And it's going to be hard through the holidays, but maybe I'll take care of that life-threatening disease after Valentine's Day, right? Well, no. Let's say summer. We'll start in summer. And then 10 years have gone by or 20 years have gone by. It's got to be today. It really does. And sobriety, I know that this is a hard concept, especially if you're getting wasted, right? If you're getting wasted, this is a hard concept. But I promise you, the booze, the drugs, right, that's a symptom of what's going on. It's not the problem. Now, that symptom causes a crap load of problems, right? Drugs will cause a crap load of problems in your life. Take this from a guy that spent a chunk of time away from the general public because of drugs, right? In a perfect world, it would be nice to live to 100. Spry, in good shape, and walking around and maybe hit 100. If that happens, I will have spent 13% of my life incarcerated behind bars because of drugs. That's a pretty rugged rock bottom. And if I did that in one stay, that would suck. But I didn't, right? I went and got a 3-year sentence. You want to talk about how do you not wake up after that? I mean, I got sent to prison for a 3-year sentence. I was out in 13 months because I went and did all of the things that I was supposed to do, right? How does that one not get my attention? No, after that, I robbed a bank and went to prison for bank robberies, right? After that, I decided I'm going to take it to the next level and become a bank robber. After that, I went and robbed banks. Thank you so much, Faye. Gifted 5 Lifeboat memberships. Thank you so much. Great way to start the weekend. Gypsy Soul. Does it always take a rock bottom for starting sobriety? No, it doesn't. Nope. I've seen people quit without a rock bottom. But then later on, when you talk to these people, they will tell you that moment was rock bottom, right? Nothing blew up around them. There were no, pending charges. No one was handcuffing them, but there was that moment of clarity. That moment of clarity for all addicts is a point of rock bottom. But some of us put on a hell of a show, right? You should have seen the day I got arrested. Should have been on television. It really should have been in a movie. I mean, they had helicopters. They had guys standing on the struts of the helicopters with an M16 or an AR or whatever, strapped. I'm not kidding you. Like real time. It was insane. Oh, I did miss that, Ben. Thank you. Leisure Beast. Leisure is a longtime friend of the Lifeboat. He's been here since the very beginning. In fact, he is he brought Miss V, who is one of the oldest and dearest crew members on the Lifeboat. He brought V here back in the day, so he's been here forever. So if we could, people, if you're new to the Lifeboat, we put up the number 1 in support of people. That is thoughts, prayers, well wishes, virtual love, and virtual hugs from a distance kind of a thing. You don't have to be spiritual, religious, or anything else to support people here. We all do it. Doesn't matter what you believe. Doesn't matter what I believe, right? We believe we can get along. Wow. I'll have a t-shirt right there. A good t-shirt right there. People. Zelda, good to see you. Queen of Awkwardness, glad you're here. Sandy Wandy. I'm fairly confident I've never said that on the air. Just Ruth, good to see you. Grandkids galore. Grandkids galore. I want grandcats galore. But every time I suggest such a thing, people look at me like there's something wrong with me. You know, Raven, I bet that there's something to that. I bet that there's something to that. You know, that this is probably an awkward time of the year for people who don't believe, because they really do. And you know, I'll be honest. I look at the holidays, and sometimes because I won't go down this one because we could forever. But I'm glad that you are here, because you know something. All I want is for people to be happy through this time of the year. Oh no, you did not. Look at this. How cool is that? Huh? TKD for life, says Tommy. I started journaling this AM for the first time. Wow. Buckle up. Your life's going to change. I kid you not. You give 30 days, right? You give yourself 30 days of doing that, right? I promise you, your life will never be the same. Karina, sorry for causing you to jettison your Mountain Dew. Good morning. Yeah, you know what? Kath, you're awesome. Raven, I am glad that this show is getting you through this time of year. I really am. That's what we're trying to do in this month. That is what we are trying to do. Atypical Paul nailed this, right? Journaling, I promise you, people, get excited about the whole journaling concept, right? When you hear someone's journaling, you should be going, awesome. I love journaling because it's life-changing. Aha, Barbie. Question. Why do people keep trying to fill that void? And how do you identify that void? Well, people have been trying to identify that void since the dawn of man, right? And really intelligent people whose books I've read and whose theories I've read, the people that you read all that crap out there, and then you come up with a theory that probably is 50 really intelligent thinkers' theories all rolled into one. But there are philosophers who say that we are born with a God-shaped void inside of us, right? Now, there are people who don't, like to use the term God. There are other philosophers who use, but whatever, there's a void inside all of us, and there does seem to be it. So you got to figure out what that void is and what fills it for you. And for a lot of us, we feel uncomfortable in our own skin, right? By definition, in my definition, this is what makes us all addicts, right? And you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever sat there and you get that feeling where you go, and all of a sudden it's like, you know what? If I don't get high right now, I'm going to go nuts. And there's no way to articulate this to other people because other people don't understand what this is like. The only people that understand what this is like have felt it, right? And you felt like there was something wrong with you for it, right? Stephanie, good Lord, yes. Good Lord, yes. For me, disconnection fuels the void. Absolutely it does, right? Absolutely it does. And understand that that's why cults force people to disconnect. They know that if you have somebody that you're super close with and you share with them the things that are going on, right? So I've got this new group I'm in. Great, Tommy. I'm doing so much better, man. I'm making more money at work, right? Things are good. Excellent. They did have me sign a $1 billion year contract, right? And it's running me about $1,000 to $1,500 a month that they're encouraging me to put on a credit card to go through this religion. Your friend's going to go, I'm sorry, what? This costs more than your mortgage to be in a religion? And they're encouraging you to put that on a credit card. This is a religion you're going into? This doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me, right? Family members are going to go, wait, so you've spent $4,500 in how long? Come on, what are you doing? But they know if they can split you off from those people, right? If they can split you off from those people, and they're good at it, right? And every cult says the same thing. Once they're able to split you off and start the disconnection, then they're going to start down a road to say, because they know it never works like a light switch. Disconnection, even if you were to say you're never allowed to talk to these people again, they're going to seek you out. There's going to be mild connection, whether you want it to be there or not, right? So they're going to start putting into your head, and they're going to tell you exactly what your family's going to say. This is what they're going to say when they come back, right? They're going to tell you this and this. Then your family calls, and of course they're going to say this, this, and this. What every family member would say. You do realize you're in a cult. Honestly, the fact that they don't want you to talk to us, you don't see that as something wrong? The reason that I hate that that cult as much as I do is because, to me, they're the anti-lifeboat. That's the way I look at it, right? If we're a lifeboat, they're a torpedo, right? We're about connection. They're about disconnection. Yeah, this is and this, by the way, this isn't because you're 4 days sober, right? These are the hardest choices for everybody, sober, not, how long you've been sober, whatever. These are the choices that are really difficult just as being humans and being adults, sadly. The hardest part of this is making the right choices. I cut my family off for a reason, but with death, obviously, funerals and such, but how far do I reconnect? Journaling helps me with boundaries. Setting boundaries is great. And if you're writing them down, then you're certainly going to do a better job of setting them. Absolutely. I don't know the ins and outs of your situation, and I don't necessarily know that you want to put them out for the entire world. And even if you did, there'd be about a 40-second disconnect. But when people disconnect from families and they say, I did this for a reason, there's usually only a handful of them. And if the reason you disconnected is going to be a massive trigger in your life, the fact that you're no longer using doesn't mean you have to go back to a situation that's going to be triggering or that's going to make your walk in sobriety more difficult. If connection to family at this juncture threatens your serenity and sobriety, then spend the smallest amount of time with them you possibly can. You're right. With funerals and the passing of somebody, maybe you have to be there. You don't have to be there all day, right? And put your sobriety before anything else. And if you've been using that entire time, right? Like if it's me and I've been using my entire life, I promise you, if I say in a room of 30 people, let me tell you something. This room is making me want to use. Nobody in the room gives me any crap about what my next sentence is. This room is making me want to use heroin. Whatever the next sentence is, everybody is probably going to accommodate. So I'm going for a ride. Knock yourself out. Tommy, do what you got to do. I'm going for a walk. Okay, go for a walk. I'm just getting out of this room. Okay, yep. If you're open and honest with the people that care about you and you just say, you know what, this is triggering the hell out of me. I got to go. They're not going to say, sit down. I want to talk to you. Right. And if they do, then you need to remove them from your life. Okay. For real. People that don't want you to remain sober shouldn't be around. Communicate with people. Right. This holiday season, that's huge. There's nothing wrong with saying to a group of people, I got to be honest with you. If I stay here, I'm going to drink something. It's not even you, but this is just causing me I'm not in a great place. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go connect with some people that may not make any sense to you, but I'm going to go connect with some people that might help me get through this and then get back to life, right? It's the the way that I have stayed sober for 8 years is because I have come up with a bag of tricks that I do every time I start to feel uncomfortable in my own skin again. Every time I get that feeling that I think, if I get high, this feeling will go away, right? Okay. That's been me my whole life. I feel uncomfortable in my own skin. I do some heroin. That feeling goes away. I'm normal. I can go function. I can work. I can do whatever. And then as that wears off, I then get that crushing feeling that I can't handle myself. I'm stupid. I'm, whatever. My children do. My children can write in cursive. I don't know that I have any. I don't know that there's any credit in that goes to me at any level, because Dad doesn't. But my kids are fortunately considerably brighter than I am. I won the lottery with both of my kids. Yeah, you know what? Calhoun actually has. Yeah, Cedar does, but Mike actually has unbelievable penmanship. It's one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen. The boy's got skills. Righteous Minky. I just like the name Righteous Monkey. I really do. Is it me? It's me. You know what? Let's get some thoughts for Clint, if we could. Saw this before the boat went live, and I forgot to do something about it. If I'm not mistaken, Clint, Barbie's dog Clint ate some gum. Is that correct, Barbie? Did I read that right?
20 pieces of nicotine gum.
20 pieces of nicotine gum. So if we could get some thoughts and prayers for Clint, that would be fantastic. I've told this story before. I was on vacation in Arizona. I was here. And my whole family had come on vacation, and I came in and I brought my traveling dope with me, and I had a big bag of balloons in my pocket. And I had used during the day or whatever, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up in the morning, I went into the pocket of my pants, and they were gone. And when I went into the living room, the dog, well, everybody was sort of around the dog and kind of they looked halfway panicking, and the dog was vomiting up on the carpet, and I just went, "Oh my God, you got to be kidding!" And I said, "What's going on?" And they just said, "Bandit's sick. He's not well. We don't know what's up." And I was like, "The dog ate my heroin. I had a pocket full of heroin. The dog ate my heroin." And everybody just turned and looked at me, because this is not a conversation we've ever had. It was one of the absolute, talk about rock bottom moments that should have made you quit doing drugs. Well, this was one of them, and it didn't. But I said, the dog ate the heroin, had it in my pocket. And you need to get it to a vet, and quick, because, and my mom looked at me and went, "No, I've got your heroin. The dog's just sick." But I found that yesterday when you went and nodded off, really a banner day. It was one of those days that if I could do the delete and maybe get rid of that one, I probably would. But it certainly had an effect on me. It really did. I mean, that one, when I started peeling the onion and going back through all of the days that I really should have jerked the e-brake, that one was one of the big ones. Because I then had to say to her, this is probably going to be the most painful thing I've ever said, but you're going to have to give me that.
Kathy says, "Did the dog survive?"
The dog didn't eat any of the heroin. The dog ate nothing of my stash. I nodded out the previous night, and when I nodded out, they went and got the dope out of my pocket, and I fell asleep. But when I woke up and saw that dog, there was that moment of, I knew my dope was gone, and I saw the dog vomiting, and I assumed. So I thought I'd rather get busted than let the dog die, So I said, "I think the dog may have ate my drugs. I had drugs with me." And then my mom said, No, I've got your drugs. The dog is just sick." And then I had to say to my mom, "You got to give those to me. I know, you don't understand this, but I need that, and you're going to give it to me." It was really one of the absolute lowest moments of my existence on this planet. And unlike the vast majority of addicts, when I say low moments, I've really had a few that Like if I picked any one of them, you could go, oh, I wish I could have borrowed that rock bottom. It would have worked for me. Yeah. I got about 110 of those. Another one that was just epic that should have been rock bottom is I was working. I had my own office. She did give it back to me. Absolutely. About 2 hours into withdrawal, everybody just sort of looks at you and goes, you know what? Stephanie, you would have, I promise you, because I would say the same thing you're saying right now. If I were hearing you tell this story, right, I would go, I'd have let the dog die. I guarantee you I'd have let the dog die. That's what I would have said, I promise, but you wouldn't have. Because when I found myself in that position, like as I'm hearing myself, as the words are coming out of my mouth, I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe because right up until the point where I said it, I thought, screw this dog. What do I care? But no, I don't think you could do it. You'll say that now, but I don't think you could do it. I couldn't when the time came, and I don't think you'd be able to. I thought the same thing. I mean, for real, I remember sticking the head out and going, you know what, man, it's not my dog. But then you just think, oh, you know what? No. I mean, I got to have something left, right? There's got to be something good inside me. There's got to be some level, right? But you wouldn't have. I promise you wouldn't have. But I opened up a boiler room, right? Doing back end sales for a scam infomercial that we were doing. But I had an override on this floor that was insane, right? I had a override when I first put the account into the office. The company I worked for was actually paying me an override on what the room was making. We cut a deal for it that was really a good deal. And then the room started doing $1 million a week. No joke, $1 million a week in sales volume. And the check that this guy had to write me at the end of the month was staggering. And his hand would shake. Like he was making, if he had to write me a check for, say, $80,000, right? It meant that he was making millions. But he had such a hard time writing that check for 80. The guy was just really, really a low life. But we had the most beautiful office, and I had bought a little stupid sports car, right? Just like I was being the stupid, trying to look like a Euro rich, whatever. But anyway, it was the first thing in the morning, and I was on my way to Provo, Utah. And I had pulled off to the side of the road and mixed up a shot because I didn't want to go to the office sick, and I couldn't find the vein. If you've ever been a needle addict, this is something that happens constantly because your veins wear out. And this happened to be a speedball, so you really want a vein. It's almost pointless to shoot a speedball unless you get it into the vein. You're not getting anything really out of it, or very little. So the go-to was my neck. If all else failed, I could always get a vein in my neck. So I took my tie and just tightened it. And I was looking in the rearview mirror of this car, which was about very low off the ground. And I'm working like this, and I got it. To make a long story short, I got it. And speedballs, very often people will do it in increments, right? The drug term is jerking it off, but the purpose of it is you're getting a rush each time you do it. So it's like getting 5 shots in one. It's kind of a thing. But I'm doing this in the little mirror, right? And it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody out on the roads. It's like completely, just nothing. And then I looked up, and there was one of the Mormon assault vehicles, like one of those Suburbans with, 9 or 10 kids in it, right? It's just a huge car full of family and a wife, a mother and a friend sitting next to her, a sister or whatever. But I looked over, and every single eye in this vehicle is staring at me. And they're this big, right? The eyes of everybody are like saucepans because I've got this thing hanging out of my neck, right? And I'm doing this one like, and I remember looking over at these people and thinking, oh my God. And I pulled it out of my neck and pulled into a neighborhood. And when I got to the office, the guy that I worked with, who was, we'll call him Jay, was a very good friend of mine for a lot of years. I walked in and he goes, man, you look like crap. What the hell's wrong with you? I said, dude, I might be like the worst human being on the planet. And when I told him the story, he just busted out laughing. He's like, oh, stop it. Who cares, man? He's like, seriously, they need a little of that in their life. The sheltered life they live. I'm like, nah, dude, for real. Like it really messed with my head because it was fear. Like the look on these people's faces was not, shock or wow. They were scared. Like they were looking down at me like this is a guy to be afraid of. You know what I mean? it's I've said it before. There's a bazillion rock bottoms in my life. When I destroyed the concrete stairs, that was a pretty big one. That was a pretty big one. And I've told the story on here so many times, but I dropped the ball of a bag of heroin and it was tied up in a balloon, and not big, but this one happened to be bigger than a 10, and this was the only one that I had. It was enough for me and my significant other at the time, and I dropped it, and it went through a hole that there was no tolerance at all. It was like dropping a quarter through a hole the exact same diameter as a quarter. Like this thing had to have touched nothing. And I tried with a stick and gum, and I'm sick. And my significant other was sick. And I was going to make the hole a little bit bigger so that maybe I could try to get my hand in or do whatever. And I proceeded to destroy the stairs. I mean, just took the entire thing off the side of the house so that I could go find a $15 bag of heroin. Yep. And I mean, I was making a lot of money. I was working the job I had at that point. I made decent money when I made it. So I went back on. I went and spoke and had it fixed. And that was the problem with my life, was that I could do that. You know what I mean? I had the ability to go to work for 2 months and make enough money to probably. I mean, if I wasn't doing dope, I could work 2 months a year and I could live. But what I didn't said was I would go and work for 5 or 6 months and then, just waste all that money. It was a pretty sad existence, and sadder for my family, sadder for my family. Your first car was a little 5-speed Honda Prelude with a moonroof. I'm really jealous of you, because all of us, I think, in my family, our first cars, a lot of us anyway, were little Hondas, CRXs. And when the CRX was out, the Prelude was like its tougher big brother. Yeah, exactly, Stephanie. 5,000 in damage for a $15 fix. Well, it's that way on the stairs, and it's that way in your life, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like you do. I did 13 years of damage, right? 13 years behind bars for a fix. And hindsight being 2020. I get Datsun B210. You believe that? Stephanie's first car was a Datsun B210. We had a Datsun B210 growing up as well, Stephanie.
The lemon law.
A yellow one, the car that forced the lemon law. And I had a friend in college named Vinny, and he had a silver Datsun B210 that he called the Silver Bullet, and we took it out on the worst night ever, like a freezing rainstorm, and we managed to roll it going 3 miles an hour. We got to the top of a hill, right in Vermont, near Stowe ski area, and the hill just goes straight down like this, and it's really, really, like, not super steep, but it just goes forever at a gradient that's steep enough that you're gonna pick up a lot of speed. And we're at the top of it. My friend Vinny gets out of the car, and he's like using his foot and everything else. And he's like, I don't know, man, it's pretty slick. And he's the only one out of the car. We're all sitting in it. And the car just starts sliding while he's out of it, like going forward. So he runs and jumps in the thing, and he's got his foot on the brake. And we literally the whole time, he's got his foot on the brake, and he's got the e-brake up, everything. And that's how we rolled. We slid like that. And then when we got to the bottom, the thing turned, and we just went over the edge. Rolled about 3 times. But yeah, the Datsun B210, I got a lot of memories of the Datsun B210. First car I ever drove. What was I, 9? For real. Like we would use it to haul wood at our house. It was like oh, that's so funny to me. Boy, is that funny. Your boyfriend had a CRX. He put a crazy sound system in that little thing, and we would fly through the state forest blasting Nirvana and Pearl Jam, Susie Q. That sounds like memories. Oh, Susie Q. Bow, bow, bow. Oh, Susie Q. I miss simple cars, Laura Estrada. I do too. But you want simple? The Morris Garage Midget, right? The MG Midget. That was a simple automobile. And the greatest. And my boy, Spanx Calhoun, Nothing in the world made him happier than the MG Midget. I had a little green one that looked just like it honestly looked like a mini Cobra. It had no badging on it. It said MG nowhere. And the grill, instead of having the normal MG grill, it had an open grill like the front end of a Cobra. And it had a little fat black roll bar, one of the really thick roll bar in it, and a teeny steering wheel. And when I would put Calhoun in his car seat, he would literally be eye to eye with me. So it would just be the two of us sitting in this little thing. And he used to refer to it as the vroom car. And he was really fond of it. I would pick him up at daycare. And on the way home, I would park it under a bridge in the town of Clear Lake, Texas. And Spanky would stand on the driver's seat and grab the wheel and spit all over the inside of my windshield, going until I would have to clean the entire thing. It was, but yeah, he was a big fan of that car. Some of my fondest memories of him as a kid were in that car. But yeah, the vroom vroom. On the way home, there was this great little part of the road that would go up like a bump and then dip straight down. And in any car, it's nothing. It's just a bump in the road. But in that little MG, it was a roller coaster. So I would catch it and sort of go high and then dip down into it. And he would just go nuts. And then my in-laws would look at me pulling up in that car, just thinking, I want this guy out of our lives and get my grandkid out of that car. Your first car was a Datsun 210. What is going on around here? Yeah, Tom Petty and mouthed car noises. For whatever reason, at 2, my son was a big Tom Petty fan. Yeah, a little lawnmower on wheels. The Datsun B210, I mean, it had an odd engine too. What was that engine on that? Was it 3 cylinders or something? There was something really odd about that engine. I don't remember what it was, but they're hard to kill. You had a Chevy Beretta bright blue as your first car? I think you're a lot younger than I am. 280. You know what, Susie Q? Susie Q was tearing it up in the 80s. Tell the truth. Did you have a jean jacket that said White Snake on it? Tell the truth.
AC/DC.
AC/DC? Johnny's predicting you had a jean jacket that said AC/DC. I said maybe White Snake. You're going to have to let us know. Inquiring minds want to know. That Volvo had the turning circle of an oil tanker. Do you love that? You know what Volvos were fantastic for? Bumper skitching.
Yeah.
Holding on to the back of the bumper. I did a lot of bumper skitching from behind Volvos. Seventh Son, good to see you. Here we go. See, the jean jackets are coming out. Had the signatures of church on it. Well played. Dixie learned to drive Dad's Mercury Marquis. Wow. Put 25, 30 friends in the back seat. You know? The Mercury Marquis was a big vehicle, as they say. No, but I wore concert t-shirts, and yes, I had a White Snake tee. Okay. All right, just checking. Daryl, I think I spelled it with an O. I was going for Volo. Stephanie says, aha, jean jackets. I gave my son my old one. He said it was lame. No. You know what? He's gonna be so bummed out. The day is coming where he's gonna look back and go, Ma, you didn't do anything with that, right? You still got it? I am finding your father and telling him. It's time to come clean. Let's get Dad on the phone. You want to do this live? Let's call him. Spanx Calhoun, is there a way to call Purple Groovy's dad if we wanted to cop to the stealing of the Ford LTD? Never got caught. Do you want to hear something? And this actually came up last night because we had a dinner gathering here last night with family. But I was digging with my sister. We were making a snow fort, and we were far too old to be making snow forts. Like, we were not. My sister was already an adult working, as a teacher, and I think I was probably 18 or 19. Like, we were adults, but we were digging out in this huge pile of snow that was right near the side of the house. And we busted a window out. And it was really quite funny because if you were in the snow fort, all of a sudden you look and the window broke. So you're looking into the snow fort just opens up into a large garage. It was actually quite funny. But somewhere along the line, we decided that we would probably get into less trouble if they didn't know who did it. Right. So my sister instantly began to blame me. And then I instantly began to blame my sister. And it honestly was one of those things that got lied about and joked about and sent back and forth for so many years that the last time I spoke to my dad alive, he actually said, "All right, now listen, this is the end." Like, my dad was very clear with me the day that I talked to him that we weren't going to talk again, that this was the last time we would speak. He was really aware, very self-aware. And he was like, "And I want to know who broke that window." I was like, "For real? This is," he's like, "Yeah, I absolutely want to know who broke that window." So that was pretty funny that went on through that entire existence. But yeah, like, you got to come clean. At the end, I had to come clean. I told him, I said, "Hey,
That's one of the joys of
my
being an adult.
sister did it." What?
It's one of the joys of being an adult. Tell you about all the ratchet stuff you did as a kid.
Yeah, Johnny says it is one of the joys of being an adult, right?
Coming clean.
It's coming clean. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, talking about driving makes me think of License to Drive, starring Corey Haim and my favorite. Yeah. Drum roll, please. Corey the Feldman. Here he comes, the comeback king. Here he comes, the comeback king. If you have not seen Riot Fest with Corey Feldman, you'll thank me later. You'll thank me later. So last night, my sister was eating here and she said to me, I want to know if you told, so did you tell him the truth? I said, yeah. She said, so you told him you did it? I said, no, I told him you did it. And she said, I didn't do it. You did it. Now, if you were nearby, you might have thought maybe we've been lying about it for so long that we really can't remember. So here's what I will tell you. I told him the truth. That's the truth.
Your truth.
My truth. No, the truth. I really did tell him the truth. Now, I may not tell anyone here that truth, but this is a great comment. And it doesn't sound like 4 days sober. That's snap, right? That's a great comment. Your brain's already firing. Like, get the popcorn fascinating. Corey Feldman is fascinating. Like, get the popcorn fascinating. And let's be really honest. The guy has done some great things, right? There are some great films out there that the guy was a part of that are so much a part of my life and my upbringing. I mean, Goonies. Come on, man. Goonies.
Stand By Me.
Stand By Me. Great film. Great film. But he's the comeback king. If you don't go watch Riot Fest, you won't understand why I'm struggling so hard with the Lost Boys. Thank you. Susan Q. Great film. Sorry, newbies, don't know names yet. Welcome. Glad you're here. Rick Smith, we're glad you're here. Dream a little dream of me. Look, we're not just going to randomly spit out Corey Feldman. Okay, yeah, we are. Go ahead. Throw out some Corey Feldman ones. It works. Gremlins. Gremlins was good.
Well, he's been in 85 plus films that are all amazing.
No, we're not doing this. We're not going to do the how many films has he been in? Because the last time we had this discussion, what did I end up having to eat? I lost a bet and ate something really disgusting behind the Corey Feldman. How many movies has he been in bet? I'm sorry, Dixie. Are we talking about failing a driving test? I want to tell you something. I am the best driver you will ever meet. I'm not kidding you. I can do things in a car for real. I mean, and maybe everybody feels that way, but the people that feel that way probably never jumped their cars or, drove them sideways for the 7 miles from house to school. We literally did that every day. The fact that we're still here, we just drove really, really poorly. But I didn't pass my driving license the first time. I don't think I passed the second time. I mean, your memory isn't what it, but I'm pretty sure it took me 3 tries to pass my driver's license test. Staceperia, look, that's how you do it. Jeremy Shelton, pay attention to Staceperia, please. Pay attention. This is how you do it. Friday the 13th, Corey was in everything in the 80s. If there was a film in the 80s, he was probably in it. Or if there was somebody dancing with a white glove on, trying to moonwalk and look like Michael Jackson, there's also an excellent chance Corey Feldman was there. Yeah, I went there. Come on, are we not ready to talk about the fact that the dude pretended to be Michael Jackson for a really long time? Can we just throw that out there? Because the Feld, he's the comeback king, right? I'm willing to concede that this is the comeback king, but we do have to talk about this this whole dressing like Michael Jackson thing. He even does the hee kind of noises and stuff, right? He does, doesn't he? It's terrible. He did, says Mischief Managed. See? So are we ready? Atypical Paul says he still does.
You can be sure.
There were a lot of zippers. I saw a lot of zippers on some crap at Riot Fest.
Wherever he is right now, he's wearing one glove. Put that in your book,
but you Johnny seems to think that wherever he is right now, there's a good chance he's wearing one glove. I put that in my video because he said I won't, but I did. So there. He has some issues, says Laura Estrada, but I still adore him. You know what? I respect that. I respect that because I'm not, I'll say it. Britney Spears got a few struggles, right? She's been through some tough times in her life. Britney struggled, but I love Britney. She could still come and move in. I would allow that to happen. So Britney, if you're out there and you're, you're not feeling it, you give Tommy Scoville a call, Britney, because I love you and you can come here and move in anytime you would like. I will always love Britney. In fact, I do a really good leave Britney alone, but I don't do it this early in the morning because of neighbors and whatnot. But I do an excellent. You know what, Connie? You're right, Corey. I wish Corey's message got delivered better. You know what I mean? Corey does have a message, and I think he's right. I think that what's going on in Hollywood, especially vis-a-vis kids, is really, really messed up.
Maybe you should have been promising to drop names for the last decade.
But you can't promise to drop names for a solid decade, right? And then when you do, just give 2 names that basically have already been established for a really, really long time that I feel for Britney too. I love her. I'm not being facetious when I say that. I absolutely love Britney Spears. I feel like Britney never had a shot, and it's not her fault. It really isn't. I think that I think society, she is the perfect, as a matter of fact, I do. And that's my favorite city on earth. So yes, I do remember those. No, you know what? I think that Britney is the poster child for what Hollywood can do to somebody. And I think she's really a resilient woman. And in spite of what Hollywood has tried to do to her, she's still here and still standing. And I think that's good stuff. And you know what, people, if you've ever had somebody troll you, it's a bummer. You know what I mean? It is. If somebody's making videos and calling you a piece of crap or whatever, even if you know everything they're saying is a lie, it bums you out. And it can't not. You avoid it, you don't look at it, but it's always going to be a bummer. No one wants to have somebody treat you bad or hate you or whatever. But as content creators, everybody's dealt with it. But we dealt with a grain of sand. And Britney Spears has had, a low, I mean, Maui, the entire Maui beach in front of her house for her entire life. So she's, and all stars, but she's really had it tough. And I think she's really kind of done it with a bit of style. Yeah, I dig her. I agree with you. I don't think she really she was given much a chance, and I think her parents are probably not the probably she didn't win the lottery with the nah. I won't be mean to her parents who suck. I won't. Oh, yeah, but how many times has that happened? I mean, come on. Who has that not happened to at least twice? Lord, last time I was in NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana, I woke up in a cemetery with Asian tourists taking my photo. If I had $1 for every time that's happened, I mean, that old, what is it? Chestnut. There we go. That old chestnut. It's happened a million times. I've seen it a million times. Still don't know how that happened. Stephanie, I believe that. I think that's probably the end to every sentence like that ever written. Right? Lord, last time I was in New Orleans, I woke up in a cemetery with Asian tourists taking my photo. Still don't know how that one happened, right? That's almost like the period. I'd buy that for $1, says Jeremy Shelton. All right, people, you know what this means, don't you? Do you know what this means? Johnny, how's the chest stubble feeling?
I hate it. I don't like it. It was a mistake.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't like it. It was an error.
It was an error, says Johnny Scoville. That wasn't my bottom, says Stephanie. No, I get it. I get it. The squirrel, that squirrel is in the basket. Oh, no, the squirrel is in the basket. Now, we are at the end of the show, so that means she just looked at me like this. I swear to you, one eye just went. She knows what's coming. All right, everybody. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and this right here, this is a cat in a basket. Right, Squirrel Nut? He's a good kitty. All right, everybody. Cats are so much easier to raise. Well, there's something to that. But you know what? On the other side of the glass is my boy, Spanx Calhoun. Spanky, where you at? Don't you hide from me, Spanky. Are you sleeping? See, he's trying to hide, but it's not going to happen. Spanx, where you at? I'm not leaving until you show your face. All right. Apparently, he's not going to have any part of it. All right, people. I am Captain Tommy. I tried. Spanx is on the other side of the glass. We will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.